Hello everyone, I am Tacit and welcome to the Gems of War Campaign 6 Week 4, Day 5. So of course today we got two things going on, or had two things going on. Well, we still have two things going on. Well, both of them are ongoing. So of course we ended up getting ourselves a new mythic. This will be available, and it's pretty bad, but it will be available in Glory Gem Guild and VIP chests for the next week. I have no clue why, does not have a timer on this page. However, it's another 6 days and 6 hours he will be available, and then he'll be in the drop table with everything else. But if you want to get him easily, now is probably the time to do so. Overall, pretty underwhelming, though he does lead to 20-star glacial peaks if you happen to have literally everything else, so at least there's that. However, of course, the other thing that we got going on, a new faction, Wyrmrun. We'll be mostly doing that this stream, so as well as next stream, we'll be doing peer faction and everything for it. But this is a new faction that ended up coming out. It is available as of this morning, of course. Comes in with a bunch of various dragons, and yeah, we should be able to get pretty far into it. We're currently at what are we at right now? I think 270, and we're currently doing rush method through and trying to progress through. It is a 6 treasure room delve as well, potentially worth keeping at level 20. It's insanely good. All 3 of these and all 3 of these are all treasure room at 100% rate, which is the most treasure room in any delve ever, which is pretty cool. And then the middle one's tier 5, so you get even more loot from that. So overall, pretty amazing delve. So yeah, there's that going for it. We are deciding to go all the way through it though, because we get an extra HP all the way at the end if you somehow have 80,000 renown. You do get plus 1 HP. Not much, but hey, it's 1 more HP than we had before. So we got that. But anyways, might as well start with that. Keep grinding it up. We're currently using the following team: Hiking Iron Gut, Marilith, Harpy Mage, and Zooguff. I'll have a video up either later tonight or tomorrow morning, just kind of going over all the teams and everything for it. I can also briefly go over them again this stream if you guys have any questions or anything you want me to go over. But anyways, hello everyone! Hope all you've been having a wonderful weekend and best of luck with the event so far. Hello Mister, hello Daddy Shark, hello NASA, hello Bill, hello Roman, hello Tyrian, hello Sushi Ninja, hello Australialand, hello, that's everyone, welcome, and hello over us. So, we'll go devour out that. Boom. Kill it out with the Zooguff. And what else do we need here? We'll get that down. Get our devour, and we're good to go. Of course, we don't have a curse specifically on this team, but that's what the Zooguff is for. Gets rid of anything that has immune to devour or anything similar. Luckily, a lot of these treasure rooms don't actually have mechanics like that, so it's kind of convenient. And more than half the delve are treasure rooms, so ends up working out pretty nicely. Unfortunately, this is a delve that when we're doing the quick kill method, we do have to go through quite a bit of battles. This delve does require 5 battles in order to reach the end, which is a pretty sizable amount of battles, unfortunately. So rush method's a little bit less effective than it would be otherwise. Luckily, 2 of those rooms that you pass through are treasure rooms, so they're not as bad as if they were like a normal room of some kind. Hello, Gustavo! Welcome, welcome. Okay, so what do we even need here? Let's get that down. That's going to be an automatic full mana next turn, so we'll just wait on it. Ideally, we want to try getting Marilith up in time. In that case, actually did both the other things. So we'll end up doing that, get that. It's mostly from the explosion that ends up giving her the mana there. Luckily, even though we didn't have a way to take it on the board. First attempt of Pure Faction, you're already over because of Potion Bug. Oh no! Yeah, I gotta be careful. But then again, there's not much you can do about it in these situations. But yeah, there's a lot of potion bugs when it comes to explosion. Actually, this will probably be when people notice it the most, because this is the first event that most people would have bought into since the potion bug thingy. Because the main potion bug, there's a lot of them, but the main one that people are probably experiencing today is when you have explosion at the start of battle, which is a mechanic that you wouldn't normally have unless you had the potion effect, but because everyone's going deep into the event, you rarely notice it. But yeah, because of that potion effect, basically what's happening is whenever you explode a potion off the starting potion effect, it not only ends your turn, but it gives the AI 2 turns. Which, yeah, is kind of bad. Of course, some people might have already noticed this some in the World event if they went a bit deep in it. But this is generally an event that a lot of people tend to go pretty deep in, because unlike something like a World event, you generally don't need your entire guild going super deep. If everyone just does, you know, tier 2, tier 3, it generally gets done. However, something like this event, a lot of people like going all the way. So it's definitely a lot more noticeable as of today compared to in the past, even though it's been around since potions existed. Which is a lot more noticeable since a lot more people are going for the 500 Pure Faction. We're just doing the event in general, which still does more battles than what World event would normally do. But yeah, it's pretty annoying. We haven't had any loss because of it yet, but it's definitely been getting in our way a little bit here and there. It's also funny whenever you see the AI just double turn on you. I think it's happened about a dozen times today so far. More so just annoying than actually causing them to win, but in pure faction definitely could cause them to win, of course, when it might be a little bit tighter, and then you just get so much value out of nowhere. And it's not even that they're necessarily getting so much value, it's the fact that it takes value from you because it completely skips your first turn, which is probably the most detrimental thing about it. Because you just completely lose your first turn. It's like the AI gets to start first twice. Not only do you lose your first turn, and not only does the AI get to go first, but they get to go twice like that. And then they double take on you. And what's even funnier is they could take a move on the board and cast simultaneously. I do kind of want that to be a game mode though. We know it can be coded. It's literally coded accidentally right now. A game mode where the AI takes 2 moves instead of 1. Would be kind of funny. It's literally already coded into the game. Just make it a game mode now. Because that'd be an interesting way without raising the enemy stats to make the enemy harder. Give them 2 turns every turn, plus have them start on turn 1. That'd be an interesting mode. Because it increases difficulty without increasing stats, necessarily. Or, you know, the stats of the enemy. When the skulls match with opponent's skulls, it froze up, did it? I haven't seen it freeze yet. That I have not. Though I didn't see any lycanthropy freeze either when it was at the peak of freezing people. Or, you know, the game crashing, I mean. Why did they change the final trait on the troops? People earlier were saying they were doing it temporarily. It seems to be because of some kind of bug. I'm not sure if it's temporary or permanent though. Because I really want that legend to keep its final trait. It's actually an amazing final trait compared to what it had. Mostly because the other thing that is half mana start for dragons is abysmal. So that thing having it instead would be amazing. But no, there's some kind of glitch with it, so they got rid of it on all of them. Hopefully it's a permanent change though. Even though they're less unique with the way that they are now, they're at least more usable, particularly the legends, compared to what they were previously. Oh yeah, if you were still grinding out hero classes, you'd probably want to replace out Harpy Mage for Mirror, or any mana accumulation option. The reason I say Mirror is it helps keep Iron Gut alive. Mirror of Reflection, or Reflection of Good, whatever it's called. I think it's called Reflection of Good. I always call it Mirror. I'm pretty sure most people know what I'm referring to. It doesn't actually have Mirror in its name. It's pretty much the only Mirror weapon. The only problem with Reflection of Good is it does block Zugaf, but it gives you literally every positive status effect for Zugaf, with the 2 most noteworthy one being Barrier and Enrage. Because Enrage will allow it to one-shot more consistently. With a Skull Poke, because it hits through traits, plus it gets 1.5 times more damage for that poke. And of course it's also for mana accumulation. It's basically just a standard exploding weapon, which has become a whole archetype of weapon, apparently. Over the last year, I feel like they've added like 20 of them, 30 of them? Definitely at least 20. They've been adding a lot of them recently. Those explosion weapons. Let's see, we'll take that over, get the Zugaf there. Take the other skull. Get our Myrtle. I should probably go for another Mirror. If we actually can't devour it, so I might just go for Zugaf. We could, of course, poke it and just poke it again, but Zugaf's more convenient. Having no luck with a new mythic, so Much resources down the drain. Yeah, sometimes they could end up eating a lot. I know we spent like 4,000 gem keys before. Luckily, we've always had enough resources that we never truly ran out. I did get really close once. I'm trying to think of what troop it was. I think it was Amnesia. Ages back. We actually got really close to quite literally reaching like 0 resources. Like, I think we almost ran out of gems as well. Like gems, keys, everything. We didn't, luckily, though. Yeah, so far I've been able to get every mythic the day it launched, since mythics have existed. I don't think there's a single one we missed on the day of. Oh yeah, the current mythic's definitely not worth it. It's pretty underwhelming. Honestly, I almost feel like it's worse than the other one. Its ability is better, but its final trait is effectively worse just because of the kind of synergies that you can use with it. Because at least the other thing does it based on green. So you can end up doing it with Truffle, you can end up doing it with Beatrix, you know, all the kind of standard, really overpowered loop troops and everything. There's a lot of things under green where it's really viable to do. Blue, while it still has options, doesn't have anywhere near as much options. As Venoxia has that one deckhand troop, it has, what's it called? The other thing that's like Venoxia, I can't remember her name. Lady or Ariel, and a few others like that. But overall, it's just doesn't seem worth it, even though its abilities have been better. Hey, you're using a flask and delve? That's funny. I did end up skipping on doing that. This is our first delve where we could theoretically do flask. I don't feel like it's needed. I guess we could replace Harpy Mage with flask or something. Like, we already have so much mana accumulation, I don't feel like we need more. The other thing with flask is you kind of need a board clear. Well, I guess we have Marilift, so I guess we would have a board clear. So yeah, we could just replace Harpy Mage with flask if we wanted to or something. We could get away with it. We're using now is perfectly fine though. Harpy Mage definitely getting the least amount of usage on this team, but the main reason for her is in case we have a really bad starting board, we will guarantee a full mana on turn 2 for her. It's basically her whole premise is just to be there to make sure we have an option. Like right here, we didn't have as good of an option on the previous turn. Oh no! I did it on her and there was 0 green on the other thing! Mistakes have been made. Generally, you don't want to cast it on the thing where there's 0 of one of their colors. If I wasn't trying to play so quickly, we probably wouldn't have made that mistake if it was like Guild Wars or something. But, yeah, it's funny. It's been a while since I made that mistake. But when you cast something that explodes based on one of the random colors that they have, try not to click someone who has 0 of a specific color, because if it randomly rolls that color, it will explode 0 gems. It's very rare that that happens, but it can happen, and it just happened. You generally want to avoid that. The easiest way to avoid it is just target something where none of their colors are 0'd. So if something just removed all purple from the board and you have a purple-yellow on your team, do not target that purple-yellow, unless literally everything on your team's purple. Let's see, what do we take here? Throw that down. Yeah, Angry Mob works pretty well as well. Marilift, Angry Mob, Egg Thief, there's quite a few options. And even more if we had access to more colors. Normally Thrall is the best way to go, but of course we do not have access to purple for this delve. Can you do a video of the teams for Underground? For the delves, we will be doing a comprehensive one in December once every delve is in the game. As far as this delve, we will be covering a video either tonight or tomorrow, covering all the teams for this current delve. And we'll have one on all 34 delves in the game sometime in December. We're waiting till all 34 the delves are released before we do the video on all of them. And then we'll do it based on... we were talking about that earlier this morning too. And then at that point we'll end up doing one based on all the pure faction teams, and then all the team teams, or, you know, the ones that you use as you're progressing through. And, you know, we'll keep breaking it down that way, as well as, like, which ones have the best things to craft, and, you know, just kind of doing a full breakdown of pretty much everything delve-related. I'm just waiting till all the delves are in the game. We currently have 32 out of 34. 2 more to go. We do not currently know the release date of either of them. However, they are both likely to occur before the end of this year. We don't have an official release date on either yet, though. Especially since we just got one today, though. Realistically, we can expect one in about 6 weeks from now, and then 12 weeks from there. should be mid-December at that point. For the second one, that is. Next one should be in probably mid-November. I mean, not mid-November, mid-October, I mean. Like mid to late October. So thank you for the support, Mark, Joey. Greatly appreciated. Helps out a lot. Oh, let's see. We'll throw that down. Get our Zoog off in there. Oh, what am I going to go for? We'll take that over there. Get our Screw and everything. Get another Iron Gut. Oh, he better not revive. We don't have any way to stun, so he might get a revive, but he did. It's 25% chance he becomes that one Dragonette. And really annoying when he does. You can stop it by stunning it. Same as the ones that have a 100% chance to revive. The 2 troops that have that. If you just stun them, they don't get the revive. However, you don't normally, or you don't always have access to a stun, which is problematic when they're in your battle. It's normally not going to make or break a battle, but then you still have to go and kill it. Actually, never mind. There's 3 troops that do it. I forgot about Ogress. That one troop that summons Fortress Gate. So there's actually 3 of them. Because that one does Fortress Gate. The other one does the Wyrmrun. And then one of them does the Giant Spider. Oh, let's see. I'll take that over. Oh, yeah, glad I could end up helping out so much. Giveaway for a PlayStation. Does anyone even still own a PlayStation 5? It's still so hard to get their hands on. I have a friend that has 2 of them, which I still find insane. Not that he owns 2, but more so that he was capable of actually securing 2. It's not like 2 for the household, he just simply owns 2. For the sake of it. I initially thought it was like, oh, he accidentally like bought one. And then it's like, or you know, because it was so hard to end up getting your hands on one, so he probably like tried it a bunch of locations, and it's just like, oh, he accidentally like got 2. But no, that wasn't the case. He just actively was trying to get 2. Still find that funny. He keeps one in his room and one in the basement, so I guess it kind of makes sense. Let's see. Throw that down. I don't think I've owned any PlayStation other than PlayStation 2 though so far. Pretty much everything non-Nintendo related I've basically never owned. For the most part. Oh, that is pretty bad timing, Daddy Shark. I know, not last year, 2 years ago. I'm not sure what it was, 2019. But I ended up missing like half the Volt events that occurred that year. I'm not sure what it was. But between the hurricanes, vacations, and just other shenanigans, out of every Volt event that year, I think I only caught like 4 of them. And every other one, something happened that prevented me. There was just always something that got in the way. It was a very weird year. So luckily, it doesn't really matter too much compared to how overpowered Volt events are now. Because now one Volt event now is like an entire year's worth of Volt events pre-buff. And hopefully they're not going to nerf it again. That's pretty much just the new economy of the game now. We'll find out if they nerf it for a 3rd time. I feel like they might. They really shouldn't, though. The amount of backlash would be exceedingly high. They did. Let's see. I'll take that over. Get our other thing. Get a Merle. Again, our Devour, and there it goes. Second attempt on Pure Faction. You got it? Nice. Yeah, it should be pretty easy, honestly, the Pure Faction this time around. Any faction that has a durability plus attack gain on their ability is generally auto-win. The main reason for this is you can just keep stacking it over and over and over again, and you can just outpace the AI and then kill them. Because the AI, while they can still do the same thing, they're not going to prioritize constantly getting that same troop to keep casting. So you can normally outscale them after several turns. So any faction that has that is generally a win condition. There are quite a few that do. And there's even one that can do it indirectly. Primal Rift doesn't start with a way to do it. However, one of the things one of the troops summons has the ability to gain armor and attack on cast. The Trance that ends up getting summoned. So you can still end up doing it there as well. But yeah, any faction that has access to it, a very strong method to win. And of course, AoE spam is also a good way to do it in any faction. AoE spam you normally need higher stats for though. But if you got a lot of potions, you could probably get away with it. Like, the amount of potions we have right now, we're going to be hitting for like 100 something, so we can get away with it. But if your damage is a bit lower, like under 100, it's probably better to go the skull route for this particular faction. Especially if you're trying to do this place potionless, you would definitely want to go double, you'd probably want to go double the epic into double of the legends. I'll probably be going single epic into triple legends, just because of course we have the higher stats to do it for with potions and everything. But if you were to do this potionless, like after the faction is done and everything at a later point, you would definitely want to do it with double epic, double legends. Maybe even just a single legend. Because we're not really going to be casting it and just using it for the half mana start. Though there is a chance they'll be changing it to not be half mana start. They might be reverting it back to what it was originally going to be. I'll find out in time. I kind of wish they would just keep it 50% mana start though, just so much better than what it was before. So much better than spawning 2 skulls per turn, because that can actually backfire in factions. Because the AI is likely to get more value from it than you will. Because a lot of the beginning of the battle will be you stacking the epic troop over and over and over again. So you don't necessarily want skulls spamming that entire time. Oh, you were able to get a PlayStation 5? Nice. Yeah, I haven't owned any of the modern PlayStation or Xbox consoles for a while now. I'm not sure if I'll eventually pick it up. Honestly, it's just most of their exclusives don't really appeal to me more often than not. It's the biggest issue. And then when I think of something like Nintendo, like almost every third exclusive they ever do, it's like, ooh, I kind of want to play that. Like WarioWare that we'll be playing in a week from now. I have so much nostalgia for the first one, though. Or for the Wii one, I should say. That wasn't the absolute first one, but... a lot of great memories with that game. And I believe this is pretty much the first one since then. Unless the Wii U had one. I don't think it did. I think it had some kind of, like, spin-off one, but I don't think it was, like, the exact same thing. If you can even call it, like, a mainline Wario game. Because I even count, he doesn't really have lore or anything. Well, he kind of does. Some really weird lore, though. Like, there are some characters specifically canon to his universe kind of thing. And oddly enough, none of them are Waluigi. But there's like 9 volts, it's 18 volt, and whatever the other billions of them are called. I can't remember their name. Guy that looks like a bowling ball. That one with the wands. That's, I think, the most popular out of them. Several others. I forgot all their names. It's been ages. It's been over a decade. Let's see. Throw that down. Can you take a look at October Mythic and give the opinion? Sure, I can go look at it real quick. Unless they change it again, like they did with other things. Hello, Bushka! Welcome. Oh, so hello, Chris. Pooh was a nice hello, too. Hello, everyone. Okay, let me go check it real quick. Might as well. I don't see why not. If I could type correctly. There we go. Okay. Let's see. Troops. To the Mythic! Okay, is this next Mythic? Yes. No. Yes. Yes? Yes. October 1st. Oh, yeah, that definitely is. Oh, the 1st of the month! Nice. Alright, let's see what it does. Let's go get its link. Copy that. Put it over here. Well, we know it's for Zolkiri. It is a Divine Elf. Interesting. Arachnean Weaver was originally going to be Daemon Divine, if I'm not mistaken. It was supposed to have Divine, but Divines were so meta at the time. They were like, we probably shouldn't make this Divine. And then it ended up becoming Elf Daemon, I think? It's Elf something, I can't remember, second category. But it originally was not supposed to be Elf, and then it was made into Elf. It's why you might wonder, like, how on earth is a spider an elf? Well, it got changed last minute. But it was deliberately made to not be divine, specifically because of how meta divines were at the time. Kind of interesting to see that a divine elf is now coming to the kingdom, because originally we were supposed to get a divine mythic for this place, and then there wasn't. And now I guess this is still happening. Just now that divines just aren't meta anymore. Anyways, as far as... Oh, I just saw Uberdoom Skull there. I just saw the text. Ooh. So it's a yellow, purple, brown. That might be the first troop with Uberdoom Skull. It creates 3 yellow gems. Then converts all yellow gems to Uberdoom Skulls. It's broken. Okay, we know. That is strong. Curse, Web, and Poison the strongest enemy. That isn't, though. That first part is strong, though. It's basically a Lord or Slaughter with less gem spawn, but they're Uber Doom Skulls. And it's 2 less mana cost. That's pretty solid. It has 50% spell reduction too, which is pretty nice. Though a little bit weird on something that does skull spam, because you definitely don't want to put this in first slot. And its unique trait is Conjure and Uber Doomstorm when an enemy dies. Oh yeah, that's strong. That is very strong. We don't currently know the exact rate that Uber Doomstorm really increases the rate of Uber Doom Skulls though. Because when I was trying to do a random one with it earlier, it just would not spawn to Storm. Maybe they fixed it in the most recent patch. I haven't tried since. But yeah, that seems really good. You definitely would not want to use this in first slot though. You would definitely have to have a different proper tank when using this. Like, this is probably a 3rd slot troop in most situations. Maybe 2nd, but probably 3rd. Even 4th, possibly. Yeah, 3rd or 4th. Probably 3rd. But, yeah, overall, really solid. It's basically this Lord or Slaughter that you would never want to be in 1st or 2nd slot with. Whereas Lord or Slaughter normally runs in 2nd, sometimes 1st. This thing is like 3rd or 4th, like the exact inverse. And you could use them together. There's no reason why you couldn't, because this converts yellow and the other one converts brown. And even if they converted the same thing, it wouldn't necessarily even matter because they were board clearing so much that, you know, it's just going to clear the board into a new board anyways. So even if they did the same color, it wouldn't matter because the whole board would be replenished anyways. So yeah, that seems very exceedingly strong. Traits could be a bit better, but Uber Doomstorm's kind of interesting to see how that pans out. As unless there's something else coming between now and then, it will be the first troop that has Uber Doom Skulls and Uber Doomstorm, unless there's another one between now and then that's coming in, which there might be. But assuming there isn't, it would be the first one that has both those 2 mechanics, both Uber Doom Skull Creation as well as Uber Doomstorm. Also, if anyone doesn't have the achievement yet, you might need that in Mythic to get it. Because I know in the previous, between the 2 events, they forgot to turn on Uber Doom Skulls. So unless you did the achievement like way back when it first came around, like that first week, it has not been available since then. So anyone who just started the game within like the last like 2 months, I think it's impossible to have even had that achievement until we actually get like a proper way to create Uber Doom Skulls again, because they completely forgot to do it midway through the seasons, the most recent time. Yeah, definitely looks interesting. Next Mythic's definitely worth getting. So save your resources this Mythic and go get the next one instead if you're low on resources. Because this current one's pretty meh. But that next one seems very useful. My only concern is it does create a very small amount of gems. So you almost would never want to use this ability unless it directly has alignment. But something like Lord of Slaughter, you sometimes go for it because 6 gems, while still a kind of underwhelming amount, is at least somewhat decent to regain alignment. But with only 3 gems, unless you specifically have alignment, you probably want to hold her ability, because the chance that you're going to regain alignment with only 3 gem spawn with the convert is very unlikely. So if the convert doesn't directly have alignment, you probably want to hold, because that will give the entire enemy team a full board of Uber Doom Skulls, which will just explode the entire board, which you do not want. Also, did you just take 3 turns? Come on now, AI. You're supposed to only take 2 turns. No taking 3. Let's see, we'll take that. And kill that with Zuga. Triple damage Uber Doom Skulls, yes. Yeah, that is something pretty funny about Pure Faction there now. Or not Pure Faction, but Pure Zolkari, or, you know, Pure Kingdom. They have access to Weaver. So you could have a Weaver summon. Like, you can have Arachnian Weaver in 4th slot, have her in 3rd, have 2 other things up front. Probably like Orb Weaver class in 2nd, and then something else in 1st. And then when your 1st slot dies, the other thing summons Web Spinner in the 1st. And then you just go absolutely crazy with that. It's going to be pretty funny. But yeah, Zolkari has been a pretty hit or miss kingdom. For the longest time, it was really bad. Then it got a Web Spinner buff combined with a Weaver being added to the game, and then it became amazing. And now it's about to get another Mythic that's about to just turn it around as like one of the best kingdoms in the game. Which would be kind of funny. Because there were many points in the game where Zolkari could be argued as the absolute worst kingdom. But then they did multiple changes over time that kind of made it better. One of them was Web Spinner getting buffed. Another one was Weaver being even introduced, as well as it getting buffed multiple times, surprisingly. It was only nerfed once in that it wasn't considered divine, which would have been really strong at the time, but how the meta was. But every other thing to it was just a pure buff multiple times over. And then the other thing that made it pretty good was Orb Weaver class, because you end up getting a lot of synergy with that with other things. What was the other one? There was one other thing that made it like really broken Zolkari. It wasn't necessarily broken, but it was a buff. They got the Dark Elf typing. Every single thing, or not every single thing, but almost every elf within Zolkari is considered a Dark Elf, which has immune to Web, immune to Mana Drain, and immune to Fairy Fire, if I'm not mistaken. And I believe even that Mythic had that trait, didn't it? Yeah, Dark Ancestry. It has immune to Mana Drain, Silence, Fairy Fire, and Web. I forgot, also Silence. It's not like the best immunities in the game, but it's better than what they had prior to then, which was a buff overall. Yes, there is a 50% elf mana start that you can end up doing with them. That's why Orb Weaver, Arachne Weaver is so good. But yeah, that was another big buff to them too, true. That's when Zolkari became better. Actually, if I'm not mistaken, isn't the 50% mana start not even in their kingdom, which is kind of funny? Though that did make Zolkari overall better. Though, isn't it associated to a completely different kingdom? Like Forest of Thorns or something? I can't remember. Is that actually from Zolkari? I don't think it was from Zolkari. But it still helped Zolkari a lot because the kingdom is very heavily based on elves. Actually, can't remember. No, he's from Forest of Thorns, that's what I thought. Though it still helps Zolkari a lot, though. Which is kind of funny, because he's used so much more with Zolkari troops than he ever is with Forest of Thorns. Despite him being associated to Forest of Thorns. In this current faction, yes. The way that they're going to be changing, if they're going to revert it back, the final trait on all of the troops for this current faction will actually help the enemy when they change it back. We don't know exactly when they're going to be changing it back, though. And I kind of wish they wouldn't. They're kind of perfectly fine as they are already. But, yeah, they were going to spawn a skull, or a bunch of skull with different abilities. And it's actually bad because it favors the AI more than would help you. Mostly because they'll have higher attack than you. Even right now they have higher attack. We're not even at the deep end yet. Not much higher, but obviously once we get to 500, it'll be substantially higher. Because a lot of the start when you're doing pure faction is you trying to build up attack and armor. And if you're constantly spawning skulls while trying to build up attack and armor, you're basically just giving the AI free pokes on you. We actually don't know, Andre. This is the first instance ever, I believe, where the event for the Mythic will be immediately as soon as the event starts. If I had to guess, the answer is no. Because it generally gets populated into a drop table after the fact. However, we have no way of knowing, because I believe this is the first time ever this interaction has ever occurred. Hopefully the devs will actually tell us. Because I don't think we can know. I don't believe this has ever happened before, when the Zolkari does happen. It'd be the first time ever when the Mythic is still available in the exclusive drop table, where the event for the Mythic is happening immediately after, meaning corresponding with the Mythic being out. If I had to guess, it will not be an event key drop table, but we actually have no way of knowing until it happens. Alright, we'll add a redeem code soon. Still haven't yet, have we? I see you, squirrel. We didn't really declare a point in which we would hand out code. Oh no, we'll do it at the next 0-0, I guess. Whatever that is. I don't know, are we close to it? I don't remember. I think, are we heading to 300 or 400 right now? I think we're heading to 400. Let's see how close are we to that. It needs to die. Let's see, we are currently at, yeah, well, at 400 we'll hand out a code. How about that? Because we're at 370 right now. We're doing rush method, so it shouldn't take too long. You did pure faction on first try? Nice. Yeah, it should be pretty straightforward, honestly. I don't really foresee much struggling happening with it. There are things that could still go wrong. But as long as you just keep buffing, you should be fine. Because worst comes to worst, one single epic can solo the entire final battle. Because as long as it doesn't die, you'll eventually have 1,000 attack, and it'll just one-shot everything, or two-shot everything, or a few shot, you know. They'll have absurdly high attack relative to theirs. So worst comes to worst, you just kind of auto win off of that. You missed your opportunity this afternoon. Well, we handed out 2 codes this morning during the morning stream. I'll have one tonight as soon as we have 400. We'll hand out a code. Oh yeah, you did it with 2 and 2. Yeah, 2 and 2 is a lot safer way of doing it. I'm still not sure if I'm gonna go 1-3 or 2-2. I feel like for the video I'm gonna show it as 2-2. But when we actually do it tomorrow, I think I'm gonna do it as 1-3. Because 2-2 is a lot safer. 1-3 is quicker though. They're also riskier if something weird happens. The only reason we'll go 2-2 is if we know we're gonna take a Cedric room. Because the problem with taking a Cedric room is if he's going to move us to the back, then our tank is all the way in last slot. But if we have double up front, it doesn't matter if he moves one to the last slot. So if we know we're going to take a Cedric room, I might go 2-2. Otherwise, we're probably going 1-3. 1 epic, 3 legend, that is. Though theoretically, you can get away with 3 epic, 1 legend as well. If you just really wanted to make sure you didn't run out of tank. Because you can use them for mana accumulation. You know what? Maybe we'll go 2-2. Because I had to think about that. We could actually do that too. Not even use the second one for the sake of having him as a backup, but using him for his 3 explode. Because he's going to get it off of enchant anyways to get the mana. So I guess we'll go 2-2. That's less AoE damage though, but it's like 1-3 deals with the upcoming rooms better. And given that there's 5 of them, or 4 of them before the final 5th, that's one of the reasons I kind of want to go 1-3. Because all those like scrap rooms before you get to the final room will take longer with 2-2 compared to if we went 1-3. I was not allowed to find if I were to say hi. Welcome, welcome. Hope all has been well. If I did say hi, wow, do I have short-term memory? Let's see. My memory is that of a goldfish. Which kingdoms don't have delves? Blackhawk and Broken Spire are the last 2. And the next one should be Blackhawk, and the last one should be Broken Spire. But yeah, those are the last 2. We don't have any official dates as to when they're happening, though. Though they're both very likely to happen before the end of this year. But neither has an official date. As of next patch, we should know the date of at least the next one, if nothing else. It would be nice when that happens. Let's see. Get a mirror left in there. Put it down. Put a destroy over there. Get our Devourer. Get a Zuga. And there we go. Which kingdoms don't have delves? Oh, never mind, I already answered that. We can keep here. Throw down a red so we can get that going. Get the mirror left. Get our Devourer down there. Yeah, 6 weeks and 12 weeks from now is generally when they're going to happen. These are about 12 weeks away from each other, normally. Are we doing skip method? Yes. It doesn't seem like it because we have to take 5 battles out of the 9. But yeah, we are doing skip method. We have been since 200. Also because there's so many rooms, it's not even like we're doing skip method. Because you're already having to take out half the delve. So I started skipping a little bit earlier than normal. Since we can't skip as much. Because of course Val Ravens are based on number of battles done. Not based on number of sigils used. It's actually the only event where it's kind of like that. Where one sigil can convert to multiple battles. With each battle counting towards Val Raven progress. Because in every other event it's normally just a solid 1-to-1. And there's the AI taking double move. As per usual. I've seen that so many times today. It's mostly because of the explosion that's causing it. That's why we haven't seen it much prior to today. Because we haven't been doing a lot for any leaderboard that would really have such a mechanic. Alright, after this next delve, we'll go hand out a code. Now we'll probably go clear out dailies. I still haven't even done that. We gotta make sure we don't forget. There's a shiny Imperial today. 6 green and Imperial. All lined up and ready to go. Alright, we'll throw that down, get our kill there, get our other thing over there. Take us go over there, get our Merlift. And nice. Get Merlift down again. Mirror that. Were we late tonight? Compared to the 8:05 time, I think we start at 8:07. So it was a couple minutes late. Devour. Don't have any way to kill it there. Yeah, we'll always stream every single night around this time. Unless I like somehow crash or something else. Or we say ahead of time that we're not. Let's see. What does it take here? Got the red over there. Actually, I didn't get the Merlift there. Should've just went for it. Get rid of Glaceon, even though it's already partially damaged. It's just so annoying if it gets cast off. We should just kill it out all the way. Just in case. Alright, 2 more battles, then we'll hand out code. I'll probably go clear out dailies real quick, and I'll probably go a little bit deeper. And then tomorrow night, we'll go do Pure Faction. I should take a Merlift there, whoops. Wasted a turn. Shouldn't matter too much though. The Merlift kind of just wins it. Big problem here though, we're kind of frozen on him. I actually want a Zugoff here first. Because we have extra turn chance off of Zugoff, but we don't have any extra turn chance off of Iron Gut because he's frozen. Can he not laugh like a Woody Woodpecker? I have no clue how he laughs. I have not the slightest clue. Isn't that one Looney Tune character? I'm trying to think of who that is. I know I've heard it before. Like the name and its laugh. I just can't remember what its laugh is like. It's been a while. Also, I'm pretty sure I'm physically incapable of laughing, however that is. Putting it into text doesn't help. It almost sounds like a banjo laugh. Do green rooms stack? Not sure what you mean by that. It's impossible to have more than one. Oh. Never mind, you're alright. Good question. I actually have no clue. I forgot there are 2 greed rooms, aren't there? There's the leprechaun greed room, and then there's the other thing greed room. The, well, it's not here, but, the mimic one. I actually do not know. It might. Other instances of multiple traits do, but because it's the exact same trait, I'm actually not sure if it stacks or not. I know the 225% armor stack, because there's a 25% armor that you can have on your troop, and then there's the 25% armor that you get from potion, and I know those 2 stack. But I never bothered testing to see if the 2 greed stack, to be 4 gold instead of 2. Wouldn't make too big of a difference regardless, but yeah, I actually don't know. Anyways, let's go hand out a code. Grab it from the list, which is still open from this morning, which is rather convenient. Just gotta go put it over to the good old code section. Make sure it works. It does indeed work. And gotta claim it for ourselves just to make sure it's functioning correctly. There you guys go. And also because we want the code. But there you guys go. Enjoy. Use it on gemsofwar.com for the game code section. Your invite code can be found in your settings menu. Whatever your game says right over there in the invite code section is what you put in for your invite code. Redeem codes right over there in chats. Copy and paste the random numbers that are started with NV. And give same word as always. 2 treasure maps, 1 gem key, 200 souls, and 2,500 gold. Only use them on PC mobile version of the game, of course. There you guys go. And definitely feel free to leave a like on the stream. Helps out a lot and is greatly appreciated. Okay, before we continue with the delve, let's take a quick sidetrack and go and clear out these dailies real quick. The most noteworthy one being this one right over here. Of course, don't want to miss out on the deeds, and especially not that Imperial, which is the main juicy loot we want there. The extra deeds on top of it work pretty well. Oh, you posted a link of what the laugh is. Let's see, I'll do it on the other computer so it doesn't make noise here. Something went wrong. YouTube doesn't want to open your link. I'll try it again. Something went wrong again. Something's wrong with your link. It's not linking properly. What if I click on it directly? Nope, something went wrong. I'm not sure what's up with your link, but it won't let me go to it. It refuses. Did it? I clicked it 2 different times or 3 different times in 2 different ways, and it wouldn't let me go to it. Tried opening a new window, new tab, and just clicking on it, and not a single one worked. Oh, did you steal my red storm? Oh, no, never mind. I just have higher stats. It's like, why didn't you die there? It's more annoying than you remember as a kid. Alright, Imperial's done. Go clear this out real quick. And now we'll keep delving. I'll try clicking the link again. Let's see. Nope, nothing. Let me try a new tab again. Open a new tab. Nope, it just does not want to work. Just does not want to work. I'll look it up later. Let's see, we'll throw that down. Get our kill over there. For whatever reason, it's only showing part of the URL on my screen. So maybe that's why it's not working? I'm not sure. Yeah, it could be because we're streaming. Though I can normally access things on YouTube pretty easily, otherwise. Alright, so we did that. Let's go back to the faction now. Still got a little ways to grind out. And of course, we're saving Pure Faction for tomorrow night. I save both the 2 500s for tomorrow night. Unless we accidentally overshoot and I forget to stop. Which is always a possibility. Probably do a few more now. Do whatever few are still left off screen. These are pretty much the same thing anyways. And then do the double 500 for tomorrow. Both Deathless and Pure Faction. Might even gain a level tomorrow night, we'll see. Still got a little ways to go. Anytime it looks even remotely close, it's probably still a mile away. Oh, so hello, Jinky, welcome. What add-on or program are you using to get that to show up on the screen? There at the left. I'm not sure what you mean on the left. The chat above me? Every single thing there is from OBS Studio. And they have all their alert systems and everything through there. Did I just do it again? I did. Where they ended up, I ended up clicking on a green when all the greens were denied. Above me? Oh, that's just a chat thingy. But yeah, it's through just the OBS Studio thing. It just grabs it straight from YouTube automatically. The other way to do it is just to get a window of it and then isolate it and get it that way. But the one I have above me does it automatically. Or when it's working correctly, it does it automatically. Sometimes it likes to not work some days. But assuming it's behaving itself, it works automatically. That's not just something that has... I literally targeted the only thing on his team that has immune to devour. He could have targeted anything else and it would have killed. Yeah, OBS does a lot. Have you done Pure Faction above level 360 for the extra pet? Wouldn't you have to do it at 300 for it? Why 360? But, no. It's not really worth it. To get the pet early. The amount of stat difference is very minuscule. Will this Pure Faction be a hard one? No, it's a pretty straightforward one. There are two ways to win. One is to armor buff like crazy, so that your first slot never dies, the epic. And I'll also be able to get one-shot skulls, or, you know, really high amount of skull damage. The other method to win is spam the legend until they're dead. As well as any combination of the two. But no, it should be pretty straightforward. I don't really foresee it being pretty hard. Honestly, we could probably do Deathless and Pure Faction simultaneously. This is definitely a location where we can get away with it, especially if we go triple legend with one epic. We could probably go both Deathless and Pure Faction at the same time. As long as you don't snipe one of our legends. Or if they don't get a really weird skull spam on first slot. Like we're up against Bone Dragon or Glaceon or something. So we're gonna know before we even start the battle what we're up against. For the middle battle. Because the middle battle is the only thing that's really gonna be annoying. We know what it is before we start the battle, so we can make the team accordingly. As far as the ratio of epics to legends. Because you already know before you go into this battle what's going to be. You did Pure Deathless 500 too? Nice. Yeah, it's definitely one of the easier kingdoms to try doing it for. Not the easiest, but it's definitely up there. Yes, I will be covering videos like that, Diane, once all the factions exist. So probably in December. Because I'm waiting till all of them exist just so we don't have to keep making more and more of them. Because we have covered it in the past, but you know, it's a while ago at this point. But definitively, once the next faction comes in, or the next two factions come in, that'll be all 34 for the already existing kingdoms. And I highly doubt they're going to be adding any more kingdoms anytime soon. But yeah, once we have the 34 in, we'll be covering it. We'll be covering literally everything with factions. Every pure faction, every location that's good to go for shards, every team for everything as you're progressing to 500. Pretty much all the everything. Though the pure faction I mentioned for every single one of the individual factions is still relevant. That's one thing that doesn't really get outdated. So any of the specific videos we've had on any faction would still be valid. The teams might not be as strong that are mentioned there, but, you know, the pure faction never changes because it's the same four always. But as far as the easier pure factions, Lithia is pretty easy. Anywheres where you have an armor gain will also, or sorry, a durability gain while also having an attack gain is pretty easy. Anywhere where you have barriers pretty much is a free auto win. Anywhere with resummon is pretty good to win. Main reason being that the player has better value from the resummon than the AI does. Anywhere that has instant kill is pretty easy, like Crypt and oh gosh, what's the other place called? It's where the Harpy Mage and everything is. Stone Song Airy. And anywheres with there's one other mechanic that's really good. I cannot remember what it was. There's one other mechanic that auto wins factions. Oh yeah, Infinite Loop, which are mostly Truffle and Beatrix. I don't like infinite with how they get built, but they can loop enough to just win the faction out. Because they loop into themselves. Not infinitely, but enough to win. What do you think they'll do when factions are completed? Yes, we're probably going to be getting new kingdoms next year. They already confirmed early this year that they were going to add more kingdoms, though they haven't yet. Though at what rate they're going to do that is definitely not going to be enough to make up for all the content. So they'll probably have something else planned. We just don't know what that something else is. But yeah, we should be getting more kingdoms at some point next year. I'd be very surprised if we didn't. You know what, I'm actually going to go for Zugoff here instead of Iron Gut. There's a chance that we would have killed him off a skull was exceedingly high, and that would have been quicker than casting both. Yeah, when Megavore first came out, I got 2 of it so I could extra turn spam. It was pretty funny. I eventually retired it when Iron Gut came into the game because then Iron Gut just became insane relative to running that. But yeah, it was good for that little bit of time. There was 3 months when Iron Gut, I mean not Iron Gut, when well, I was referring to Iron Gut with the other thing. But there was a short period of time where Megavore was meta for Delves for about 3 months before Iron Gut came into the game. Then Iron Gut came into the game and became like the only thing anyone ever ran for Delves. And then eventually Zugoff when he ended up having no refresh timer on his ability. Because before you used to only be able to cast Zugoff once per battle. But now you can cast him as many times as you want. You get him way more viable than he was before. Yeah, the 505, yeah, 505's 15-year anniversary happened the other day. I think there's still a Steam sale for it as well going on right now. I wonder if Gems of War in general got any more exposure because of that. Probably not too much. 505 is a company, still a pretty small one. They have a few big names though. It's like a mid-range company. They're big enough to buy out other companies, but they're not big enough to be like a behemoth of a company. Like, they're big enough to buy out other companies, but not big enough to be almost monopoly size. Which a lot of companies seem like these days. They're in that nice in-between area. So why are we surrounded by tier 5s? We got every possible tier 5 treasure room in a tier 5 right there. That's the only problem with 6 treasure rooms I've noticed. This delve would actually get a huge buff if we get more treasure rooms added to the game, specifically of higher rarity. Because one pretty funny thing is, there's only 2 tier 5 treasure rooms, and this place spawns so many treasure rooms that is almost lowering the loot just because the lower multiplier overall from the treasure rooms, or you know, the other ones, because it's not possible for it to even spawn enough 5s. Because if there was, this place could probably spawn 6 tier 5 treasure rooms. The problem is there's only 2. There aren't any more than 2, so it can't possibly spawn more than 2. So if we ever get a lot more bigger treasure rooms, this place might actually end up getting buffed, assuming it's in their drop table to drop them, which I would assume would be the case. Oh, so why did I pick this battle? We had 3 choices, and I picked the one that has 3 immune to devour. Still doable, but it's definitely more annoying than the other options, that's for sure. So let me devour the only thing we can actually devour. And now it's got a Zugoff spam, though there is an alternative. I could always spam with that, but I want to make sure we don't block our blues. I'm just going to Zugoff spam at this point. So let me get the mana. Discuss the mythics above. What mythic above? I'm not sure which one you're referring to. Oh, vote for your next semi-bad mythic. Famine, Infernus, Megavore, Queen Aurora, actually, there's a couple good ones there. Infernus isn't bad, Famine isn't bad, Megavore isn't bad, Queen Aurora isn't bad, Quetzalma isn't bad. None of them are bad. They all do something drastically different, though. Out of all of them, I honestly feel like I use Queen Aurora the most in the current state of the game, because we've been starting to get some beasts that aren't horrible, that synergize with it, particularly last season. We got a few of them. Particularly the Hatter and Scroll line of troops. However, oh no, all of them are good in their own different way. The only one I'd probably avoid is Famine, just because it's not associated to a kingdom. But none of them are a bad choice. They all do something drastically different. Famine does mana drain, Infernus does everything, Megavore does insta-kill and armor tier, the best armor tier in the game. Queen Aurora does mana accumulation in a very weird way, but it's still a useful way for beast teams. It's pretty much only used for pure beast teams, occasionally divine, but mostly beasts. And Quetzalma is just an infinite loop kind of troop. Oh, there's so many other better infinite loops though. I mean, so many, but you know, the other infinite loops that exist are better than Quetzalma. Which makes it use a lot less, even though it can still kind of do it. You have to think a lot more when looping with Quetzalma, though, compared to, like, Truffle or Beechurch or something. Or the Goblin teams. Like, do it pretty mindlessly. A lot less thinking is required to make them work. Let's see. Not that you don't need to think, but, you know. They're more difficult to... the Quetzalma one's more difficult to pull off in comparison. Even though it can. You have to think like 2 or 3 moves ahead. Whereas like Truffle, you just keep spamming his buttons. You just keep clicking until you win. Pretty much. Hello, Vizuka. Welcome. Should be a match. Come on. Take that yellow over for now. Okay, if anyone still has any other questions, anything else you want me to go over, do let me know. Otherwise, I think we'll make this the last one we do for now. And then tomorrow night, we will do level 500 Deathless and level 500 Pure Faction. We might even try doing it simultaneously. And see if we can make our level 500 Pure Faction go Deathless. And do it in that order. Let's see how it goes. And sometime tomorrow, either tonight or tomorrow, we'll have the video going over all the teams for the stove. Which we did pretty extensively the previous stream earlier today. I want to have a nice concise video on it. Because not everyone's going to watch the 3-hour stream. Plus it's kind of in like the middle of it. Well, maybe not the middle, but you know. Buried in that stream. Let's see, I'll throw that down. Yeah, pure dragon team. I really hope they keep that 50% mana start dragon from this kingdom, like this. There's so many more builds you could build out of dragons if he keeps his 50% mana start. Because if they revert his trait back, he's never going to be used again. Because he conflicts with Divinia, and no dragon team will ever reuse him. Because it's just going to use Divinia instead, because Divinia is amazing. It's one of the few dragons that are not useless. The main reason it's not used is there's so many other mana accumulators. But it has the benefit of being a mana accumulator while also being a cleanser. And while there are other things like that too, like Mercy, Apothecary, stuff like that, Beatrix, it's a nice version of it. It has board clear and explosions. And of course, his direct dragon synergy. Which is always convenient. Anyways, guys, I think we will end it there for now. Tomorrow, we shall do, tomorrow night, same time as always, about an hour prior to now tomorrow, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, we will go and take on level 500 Deathless and level 500 Pure Faction for the Valley of Worms. And should be able to get a first try, I hope so. I'm going to try to do a Deathless as well with it, because why not? Should be able to. Unless something really weird happens, we should be able to pull it off. But that is pretty much the game plan. Between now and next stream, we will have a video up going over everything related to this faction, as far as pure faction teams, cheaper teams, teams to use in certain areas, you know, the normal stuff, and just kind of going overview on it. Probably go over the weapon as well. It's bad. The short answer to that, it's bad. The long answer tomorrow, it's just going to be bad in more words. But anyways, guys, I'll catch you guys later. Thanks for stopping by. Hope you all enjoyed the rest of your weekend. Best of luck with the faction. Best of luck if you're going to be trying for the Mythic. And I'll see you guys later. Goodbye, everyone. Thanks for stopping by.